So I haven't done a lot with this since last video. Cut a couple of brass slugs to use as pivot points and just get a quick diagram ready to slot the ends of the piece. So to get the full range of motion on this, we need to cut our slot to a depth of our radius on our end piece. In this case it happens to be 737 plus half the diameter of the bolt we're going to use to secure it to the table, which is going to be 3/8. So we take our radius plus half our bolt diameter and we'll cut our slot to a depth of 925. Piece is set up in the vise at the same 30-degree angle that we use to mill the ends. And we're going to use a 3/8 inch end mill to cut this slot down through. So let's get started. That'll be our 0 point. So that's at 850. We have another little bit to go. This is our final cut at 925. So here's how it looks so far. Slots are done in the centerpiece. This should give us an adjustment from pretty well horizontal to, I suspect, not far off vertical, which will give us a wide range of adjustment on it. I guess next step will be to machine the brass pivot points. We get those bored, get a flat put on the top here, and we'll get to work on the radius washers, I guess, as the next project. Looks nice. So this is the result of today's couple of hours out in the shed for a bit of play time. We needed a couple of radius washers to for pivot points for our mill stop. We did up a little drawing and came up with something that we think might work just really well. So the end result is our radius fits very good. I don't know if you can see that or I'm in the way. Our radius fits good, and we get a full range of motion through the mill stop. When we get some T-nuts, we get the brass pivot points finished, and we'll soon be ready to try this thing out. This is the setup. We're just using our rotary table as a work holding device today, not using the rotary functions at all. But it's very convenient to hold these pieces in a small chuck and and cut the radius on them. Used our boring head. I'll get this in neutral. Used our boring head to cut our radius. It was a little tricky to set up, but essentially dial our bar in so it's running true and dial in our offset. And this offset is a little complicated by the fact that our boring bar carbide tip is not the same diameter as the shank of the bar. So we use some feeler gauges, measure this amount, and factor that into our equation to get the right radius. A little something for you guys that may be using these imported rotary tables like this one. If you're going to use it in vertical mode, get used to checking the back and see if it is square, because in the case of this one it's not. And because our mounting bolts are primarily up on the front, and there's nothing to keep the rear of this thing flat on the table. There's no provision on the back to put a clamp there. So what I normally do with it is run a clamp to the very top and snug this one down, and the things will always sit flat once you get them clamped down right. Well, that's about it for this episode. I guess next video we'll be working on the brass pivot points and start to work on the clamping washers for the rod up on top. I got a little plan worked out for that on this diagram here, and like I said, next time I'll get working on that. For right now, it's not much time in the shed this weekend, and that's all we can do about it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.